Hi guys, this is part 2 in the video in where I show you how to make this heart, or lack of a heart, or heart hole. If you're a new viewer, welcome here, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. You can find part 1 in this tutorial in the video description below. And in this part 2, we're going to continue this project. We're going to make the back side, or the back piece to this, to stitch on, or to stitch this piece onto, rather. And we're also gonna crochet around the back piece's sides in corners, and then we're gonna attach the parts together. So without further ado, let's go. We start off with the red yarn, the same red yarn we used for the border out here, the lighter color. And this part is going to be much simpler than the heart itself, because this is just a back piece. It's all going to be double crochet and chain basically. So we start off row 1 by chaining 24. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that's our first row here. We are going to double crochet our way back. So I'm going to start here with 2 more chains. And then we go through this stitch here. So 1, 2, and then this stitch. Oh, sorry, and we yarn over. And we go through this stitch and make our first double crochet. Then we double crochet in each stitch here, or each chain rather, all the way back. So that's 2. That's 3. Four. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. So we should have 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, checks out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we go. That was row 1 and 2. And there's not going to be much more action than this for a while. It's just going to be basically, see, I started row 3 here same way. I chained 2, I turned, and then we're going to make 24 double crochet. So it's just a matter of joining over, going down, picking up, going down, picking up, pulling through and pulling through. So I'm actually going to do this row 3 of camera, and I will see you here for row just in the end, or row 3. There we go. Now we're here at the end of row 3. We're going to do the same thing on this back piece as we did on the front. We're not going to use this last stitch as a stitch. Instead, we're going to use the top chain here. There we go. Because that will keep the line outside straighter. So we go through the top chain and we double crochet. So for row 4, same thing applies. Chain 2, turn, and we'll make a double crochet here in the first stitch. And in the second stitch. And in the third stitch. And so on. So we're going to double crochet all the way to over here, and I'll see you here. So here we are at the end of row 4. We are going to finish the last double crochets I have left here. And once I reach the corner here, we go through the top chain of the 2 chains and we double crochet. Now you've seen all there is to see about this back piece, how to make it up to, basically up to where we're gonna crochet around it. So this is row 4, and the row total here is gonna be 14, counting the chains. So we need 10 more rows here of just straight double crochet. Start 2 chains, then turn, make 24 double crochet, and then rinse repeat 10 more times. So I'm just gonna do this off camera, and I will meet you once you have all those rows done. See you in a bit. There we go. Now we're up here at row 14, counting the chains as a row. So 1 chain row and 13 rows of double crochet. So now we are going to crochet along the edge, just like we did on the first piece here. Remember, first piece we started here somewhere, but here, since it's all going to be one color anyway, we might as well start here in the corner. So I start by chaining 1. That's our fake first stitch, and then I chain 1 more, and then 1 more, because that's going to be the corner. And then I'm going to put a regular single crochet here in the first stitch. Then we chain 1, and we find the next spot here in between the rows. Should be here. There it is. Then once again we chain 1. We move down to the next spot here between the layers or rows. And make a single crochet, we chain 1, we repeat. And the next gap between 2 rows, and we repeat again. And again. And we chain 1 again and go into a spot between the rows and we single crochet. So we're just gonna keep on going like that. Single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain, single crochet, chain, just like we did in the first piece, all the way to the corner. And I'm gonna show you the corner again once I get down here. So I'm gonna do this off camera and I'll meet you when I'm at this corner. So now I'm down here at the second corner. This was the first. So I've chained one, and we're going to use this bottom chain here as our corner stitch, and this is going to be the side facing out. So I'm going to place the knot here. I'm going to make sure that's to the back, just like we did on the first piece, and I'm going to place the tail from the start alongside. And I first make a single crochet along this in this direction, and then I chain 2 to wrap around the corner, and we make a, let's see, where are we? There we are. And we make another single crochet here into the same chain. I mean the same stitch, but the same, it's going to be the chains on the bottom here. And then we continue in the same manner. We chain 1, we skip this stitch, and we go into the next. Chain 1, skip, and go into the next. And I'm still keeping the start tail here tucked in to work it in as I go along. Keep on alternating. And when we get like this, a few stitches in, like we are now, we can go ahead and drop this, and we're just going to cut that off later. But I'm going to continue off camera on this row as well, but I'm just going to move up to here, and I will meet you here right before this corner. There we go. Now I'm at this corner here, and since it's even, remember we talked about this in the first video, if it's even, it's not going to match up if we alternate. So here I actually went through the bottom chains instead with the last single crochet here, just to make it work out stitch-wise with the count. And when we're in this corner stitch, or the chains in this case, we are going to wrap around the corner. So we chain 2 instead of 1, and we go into the same stitch and make a single crochet to shape the corner. And then we continue in the same manner. We chain 1, and we go into the stitch here in between the rows, and single crochet. Then I chain again, I go into the next stitch here in between the next set of rows, and make the single crochet, just like we've been doing for the last rows. Just like this. So I'm just gonna do this off camera as well, and I will meet you up in this corner. And here we are up at the corner, and this is going to be the same as down here. It's not going to add up evenly. So just like we did in the first piece, we're going to go through the top chain here and use that as a stitch instead of the first actual stitch, because if you use that, then they won't line up. So let's use this chain for our last single crochet in this direction. That doesn't look right. No, it does look right, sorry. Like I said, we go through the chains, double crochet, and then I chain 2, and I go through the same here, the top chain. And then I'm going to keep on going every other. I chain, I single crochet, I chain, and single crochet, skipping a stitch every time, just like we've been doing. So I'm just going to walk all the way up to here, and I'll show you how to close this out. So there we go. Now we're heading to the last corner here, and I'm just going to place my last single crochet here, and then we're going to rejoin this. So first we're going to look, that's the first, that means this is the chain that we want. We go through that, and we slip stitch. And you see that will bring the corner in line just like the others, semi-sharp here. So there we go. First this is weaved in now, so we can go ahead and cut this. pull it in. Then we are going to pull this through, but first we're going to leave like, I don't know, 1.5 foot maybe. And we're going to cut it off. And we pull through, because now we can use this yarn when we stitch the two halves together. There we go. If we hold it like this, this is going to be the side facing out, or I mean facing down in this case since it's the bottom, but this is going to be the outside. So we don't want any knots on this side. So first of all, I'm going to transfer this to the other side. So we go ahead and thread the needle here. And we just poke this through here to the back side. And then I'm just going to move a few stitches up here. This will also help secure this. I just go back and forth here in some stitches. Like so. Now we can take out the front piece that we made in the last video. This is going to be the outside on this, so we place it. Alongside this. You see this kind of a good fit. Or it should be. We are going to line them up. The stitches should match 1 to 1. So we shouldn't run into any issues here. Just a matter of finding. I think it's here. Yeah, that looks fine. And then we can start to stitch these two halves together. And I'm just going to go ahead, pinch them like this, and go one stitch at a time, pairing them up. Oh, sorry, you can't see. Pairing them up and going through. Then I go to the next pair, pair them up, and I go through. Then the next pair, these two, finish together and go through. And same thing here. So I'm just going to keep on working all the way around. This goes for the corners as well. I just line them up, the pairs, go through from one side to the other, and pinch it closed as I go along. So I think I'm going to work the rest of these stitches here off camera, because there's not really no point showing you anymore, because it's just going to be very repetitive. Just this all the way around. So yeah, I'm just going to do this off camera. I will meet you here in a little bit once I've stitched it all the way around. See you in a bit. So now we're at the end up here. We just have a few stitches left here to close. So I thought I'd just do this on camera, but same method applies. We go back and forth in each stitch pair. And there we go. Now we overlapped where we started. I'm just going to keep on going for a few stitches, like 2 or 3. And then I'm going to double back towards the corner. And this is to really lock this thread in place. like so. That's going to be our heart here. And then once we are finished, we just push it in somewhere up here. And we're just going to thread it alongside the stitches here on the inside. And once we feel happy, we poke it out somewhere and pull the yarn in. And then we cut it off. And it's finished. This might need to be adjusted some, like pull the corners out here, push this down. Overall, we are done. So that's going to be our heart on this side, and then the red back side. Might be a bit hard to see with this shadow now in this light, but it's a pretty good heart shape here. So that's going to be it for this video series, where I show you how to make this heart hole. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.